Welcome to the 2015-2016 NBA preview on my channel. My name is Josh, your enviers. With me is my co-host.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? The one and only legend of winning, aka Low, back at it again.
And today we're going to be covering the 29th team that we have ranked, the Denver Nuggets. What did the Denver Nuggets do last season and did leading up to this upcoming season?
You know, they really didn't do much. I mean, outside of losing Mozgov and, of course, Ty Lawson. I guess that's a lot right there. But losing Ty Lawson is probably their biggest thing. Historical year for Ty Lawson last year. He played phenomenally well. I think he's gone under the radar for a majority of his career. Last year, nearly averaged 10 assists a game, no more than 3 turnovers. So phenomenal year last year for him. But they lost him. A lot of off-the-court issues that were really messy, and they kind of had to just move on. But that kind of leads them into the situation where they're at right now, where they're the 29th team in the NBA.
They lost Andre Iguodala a few years ago, along with George Karl. And ever since then, they didn't make the playoffs. They're starting to be just a stagnant team. And now, this upcoming season, we predict that they're going to be in the lottery. They're going to have, a top 5 pick for sure, especially because the talent is just not there for this team.
But most definitely, they need to move forward. And the whole Brian Shaw, that transition didn't really work out too well neither. But
now have Mike Malone, exactly.
Yeah, Mike Malone seemed like he's capable of doing somewhat of a good job. So we'll see.
Is he an upgrade from Brian Shaw?
For sure. Defensive-minded coach, and I think that's what they need to focus on. Because offensively, they're probably just going to get easy buckets and run a transition like they did back in the George Karl days.
All right, then. Mike Malone was part of the summer acquisitions by the Denver Nuggets. Let's take a look at what else the Denver Nuggets did this offseason. They acquired a lot of Rocket bench players who they waived and some they kept, along with re-signing Danilo Gallinari and Wilson Chandler.
They probably, to be completely honest, they probably should trade one of those two. I'm really and truly surprised that they kept both of them. Out of the players that got traded last year, a lot of talks was about Chandler leaving, but they ended up trading Aaron Aflalo for practically nothing. I'm confused to what they're going to do with those two pieces because they practically play the same position.
Right now, they're still looking like a bunch of role players and not one standout superstar on this Denver Nuggets team. Speaking of standout superstars, or at least close to, they lost Ty Lawson, who was basically their guy, to the Houston Rockets.
A really extremely talented point guard. I think people, don't really understand how great he is, especially because he plays in the West in an extremely point guard heavy conference. But literally, he's been a 10 assist guy, or at least around there, for the past 3 years now at this point. But that off the court stuff, that's what really lowered his value and why they basically had to give him away for practically nothing.
And hopefully it works out for him in Houston. But moving on to what the Denver Nuggets drafted. They drafted Emmanuel Mudiay at number 7. And last year in the 2014 draft, they drafted Nikola Jokic. I believe that's how you say his name. Probably butchering it.
I don't really watch too much college ball, so you might have to speak on Mudiay because I'm not too familiar.
Mudiay, I to be honest, Mudiay is one of those players I have never seen play just because of the fact that he played overseas in China.
That is right, yeah.
And Jokic, all I know is that he's a versatile big man. He can stretch the floor a little bit, so that's that for what they drafted. Mudiay, on the other hand, is he's athletic. He needs to work on his jump shot, but other than that, he's probably going to eventually be the starting guy for the Denver Nuggets. So it's a good pick at that position. Speaking of rotation, this is the Denver Nuggets rotation. The starters: Jusuf Nurkic, Kenneth Faried, Danilo Gallinari, Randy Foye, and Jameer Nelson. Yo,
shout out to that boy Jameer Nelson, the young boy still starting in the NBA. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! I can't believe he's. Well, no, he should be on the team, but backing up, not starting. That's quite phenomenal that he's still starting in today's NBA.
Probably near All-Star break or near the end of the season, it'll probably be Emmanuel Mudiay who's going to be getting the start rather than Jameer Nelson. But as of right now, the bench looks like Nikola Jokic, JJ Hickson, Wilson Chandler, Gary Harris, and Emmanuel Mudiay, who, like I said, will probably be moving into the starting position one point or another in this season.
The bench, it's questionable, especially JJ Hickson. It's all questionable.
And at this point, if I was management for the Denver Nuggets, I would literally blow it up and only keep Emmanuel Mudiay. And they're probably not going to do that because they have faith in Kenneth Faried. And I like Kenneth Faried as a player, but it's going to be hard trying to move forward with what they have now.
They need to do something, though, because I agree with you. Blowing up the team seems what they need to do, but it's just I don't understand what they're really holding on to for. I mean, this is probably the best time, if not ever, to kind of just restart and revamp your organization and your whole team. But they're holding on to players that, I'm sorry, just doesn't seem reasonable to me at all. So speaking of blowing up the team, that's kind of what leads into this question. Now, the big question, as we all know, is something I sit back and I ask you all, and hopefully you kind of, leave some comments in the comment section to answer it yourself. The question for the Denver Nuggets is, what exactly are they, what direction are they heading into? They just sat there and they signed Gallinari for 3-year, $45 million extension, Wilson Chandler 4-year, $46 million. So Josh, where do you think they're going? I think you kind of already answered it in the previous early in the video, with Emmanuel Mudiay being the only player that they're keeping. But where exactly do you think they're moving? And if they can trade them, what do you think they can get for those pieces?
To be honest, the only reason why I believe they keep Gallinari and Chandler still is because that's who they traded Carmelo Anthony for. They're still hoping in the back of their mind that trade worked out for them. And in reality, it did for a certain time. But at this point, it's time to move on from the Carmelo Anthony era and just time to move on from the Carmelo Anthony trade. And to me, in my opinion, if you're going to keep Danilo Gallinari or Wilson Chandler, you should definitely only keep one of them. And in today's NBA, I feel like both of them would be a great six-man and not a starter for a team. So I would definitely blow it up. Not sure if that's what they're going to do, but I would hope to see that happen. Wilson Chandler is getting paid more than Danny Green. Which is ridiculous to me.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I'm assuming Danny Green took some type of a cut, but still, just the simple fact that they can get Danny Green for that low, and Wilson Chandler's going to be coming off the bench, and that's how much you're paying him. Then Kenneth Faried, they end up finding out that he's not worth the contract that he received, and he received a $50 million contract, which is outrageous as well. I don't see Gallinari, Faried, and Chandler all on the same team at one time. It just doesn't work out for me, and especially with the loss of Ty Lawson and not really getting nothing back from him. If you hold on to these pieces way too long, their value seems like their value is going to get even worse as time progresses.
And speaking of Ty Lawson, I think the reason why they kept Gallinari and Chandler is because they felt that they would have Ty Lawson still on the team. We'll find out what happens in the upcoming season, which brings us to our predictions of what we see will happen with this Denver Nuggets team. Will they make any trades, etc., etc.?
Trades have been made. Wilson Chandler, J.J. Hickson. I feel as if Wilson Chandler, he's played more minutes and more games than Gallinari of the past 2 seasons. So Chandler most definitely seems like he's going to be up on the block. And J.J. Hickson, he's an energy guy coming off the bench, going to grab you rebounds. So I feel like there's a team out there that kind of needs that type of a style of play. But I just don't see how Gallinari and Chandler stay on the same team together for a whole nother year. With Faried, they're kind of just stuck with that contract, so they're going to have to just bite that until it's over. But this is a team that made a lot of mistakes in the past 2 or 3 years, and they're most definitely going to feel it over the next 5 years.
The reason why this team is ranked so low on our NBA preview is because, in my opinion at least, I'm not sure how Low feels about this, but this team could probably flip-flop between the 76ers and possibly be the Timberwolves of last season. It may just be by one game they have the worst record in the NBA, but I can really see it. They need trades, and that's the bottom line of it. They're probably not going to do. They probably will do some, actually. Just so once they start losing, once they see how the process is, they're probably going to go all in and say, you know what, we're going to need this draft pick, so might as well trade away some key players like J.J. Hickson or Gallinari or Chandler or Foy even.
I do see the Nuggets are trying to at least see what they have and piece something together. So I feel like they're going to go out their way to win a couple more games, or at least try to win some games that they probably should have lost. I can easily see that happening. But it's a lot of pieces here that are tradable pieces for sure. What the contract that they received, I don't necessarily know. But if they can get out of some of these long-term contracts that they have with these players, kudos to them.
With that said, this is how we feel about the Denver Nuggets in this upcoming NBA season. We'd like to thank you guys for watching, and be sure to leave a like on this video if you did enjoy, because these videos do take a lot of time and effort to make, so it'd be greatly appreciated.
Yo, thank y'all for watching, man. We love the support that y'all are going to give us, and just keep watching. Also share it. Let's also get the word out that we are doing this. Like Josh said, this does take a lot of time. And comment as well. We want to hear your comments and what you think about this. This isn't going to be like me and Josh is talking. We'll also be in the comment section as well, going back and forth with you all and spreading everybody's opinion.
We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.